You're watching News First, and up next is a look at Action TV.
Addressing a group of state officials in the Kegal district, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Dr. P.B. Jayasundara, yesterday reiterated the importance of completing development projects which are being planned, taking into consideration the real needs of the public without restricting them to mere foundation stones. He made this statement in response to the Action TV revelation on Friday. On Friday, Action TV revealed the fraud that has taken place in the guise of road development in the Kohamadeni area in Warakapula, Kegal. Action TV revealed that though documents recording the development in the area state that this road, which is 6 kilometers long, is made using concrete has been put covering only 5 kilometers of the road. They take measurements and funds are passed. However, we do not know what happens to it thereafter.
The
Kohamadeni and Warakapula road. When resident was interviewed, he said they come, measure and leave. This needs to end. Before making last year's budget, the message that the President delivered to all provinces was that not to stop projects halfway. He said before starting new ones, finish the half-complete project. Money has been allocated for this purpose from the 2011 budget. Accordingly, our ministry is providing the necessary facilities for this. In a backdrop where the Ministry of Finance is ready to spend funds allocated by the budget to complete incomplete projects, isn't it the responsibility of those in charge of economic development to get rid of state officials who are reluctant to provide these benefits to the public? Secretary to the Ministry of Economic Development, this is over to you.
On a lighter note now, News First Jani Liyanike visited the Sri Javadanapura Vidyalaya, which is incidentally one of the oldest schools in the country. Let's see what details she was able to unearth during her visit there.
The country's education has been subject to many changes over the past decade. Well, Sri Javadanapura Vidyalaya, formerly known as Christian College, can be cited as a good example. I was at the school to get a first-hand experience on its journey today.
The Kingdom of Kotte was a kingdom that flourished in Sri Lanka during the 15th century. King Parakramabahu VI, who ruled the country between the years 1412 and 1467, managed to unite the country during this period. The land where the Sri Javadanapura Vidyalaya is located had passed several eras of education that were there in the country.
According to legend, it has been stated that a Piruvan called Erabattota Dharmaraja has been situated during the Kotte era. In this land there is a Natri which is around 700 years old. It is also been stated that Totagamuwe Sri Rahulatera penned the Saladini Sandesha under this Natri.
Sri Javadanapura Vidyalaya, formerly known as Christian College and which traces its roots to 1822, was founded by Reverend Samuel Lambrick.
Church missionary, Samagame missionary varun.
4 missionaries attached to the Church Missionary Society in England had arrived in the island in 1818. Reverend Samuel Lambrick, who arrived at this location passing the Devanna, discovered this scenic location. Subsequently, this land was taken from the governor through a deed.
This school, which dates back to many centuries, was the alma mater to several great personalities in the country. Anagarika Dharmapala, a pioneer Buddhist missionary and the national leader who fought for the liberation of the country from the British rule, John de Silva, a dramatist and national hero, as well as Ananda Samrakun, the composer of the national anthem, can be cited as few examples. It is interesting to note that the son of Veerakapati Pulanilame, who fought in the Vellasa rebellion against the colonial rulers, had also studied at this school.
Prince Bandara was brought to the school from Gampula and measures had been taken to provide education while staying at the college hostel. He has then got homesick and he had got diarrhea and died. He was subsequently interred in the school premises near the Natri.
Ed Shelton, A.T. Puris, who was a teacher at the school in the 1950s, recalled his own memories to News First. He paid a tribute to the teachers in the school who then served through a verse that he had written.
Bound to the school in loyal service true, in their finest years, a dedicated crew, They are first the school, young lives to shape and mould, fit for life's storms, in prayer and labour bold. Echoes now their voice as years recall.
I.S. Kulatunga, who is the present principal of this school, which was initially called as the Kota Institute from 1822 to 1847, CMS Boys School from 1847 to 1934, while Christian College from 1934 to 1964, and then Sri Jayawardhana Vidyalaya, after the government took over it, had this to say.
Students who are receiving their education at the school at present can get a good base from the past to mold their skills. Students who emerge from this school are world over and engage in many social service activities. At present, we have given the message to students that they too can reach great heights by drawing inspiration from the school history.
Well, that was a report filed by News First Jani Lenege. Now moving on, over the past few days, News First focuses attention on the debt crisis which has engulfed several European countries, including Greece, which are caught in a debt trap owing to excessive spending based on credit. Now, what are the lessons that could be learnt by countries which depend on heavily on credit? Tonight, we take a look at this area on a special segment, the European debt crisis.
European countries such as Greece, Portugal and Italy, which are facing a debt crisis owing to excessive spending in the state sector, have adopted policies to curb spending on credit. However, there are no signs of this debt crisis coming to an end. How will this affect Sri Lanka?
Now, if the real economy is not keeping a pace, what really is happening is we are paying off debt with debt, right? Which is the story of Greece, and that's dangerous. As you borrow more, right, you get into a situation where your debt ratings will also begin to slip. When your debt ratings slip, your cost of debt goes up. So you get caught in a very, very vicious cycle. So budget deficit and borrowings, I think these are the things that we need to closely look at.
What are the lessons a developing country such as Sri Lanka can learn from this crisis which is developing in Europe?
So banks will have to be capitalized, right? Who is actually going to put in the capital? Because, you know, in one sense, the stock markets will be under pressure, returns will be lower, therefore private capital will clearly, will not be that forthcoming. So private capital, governments will have to start, basically looking at that. So the banking crisis is also something that we need to watch.
We also spoke to Ranil Pereira, who is a risk and regulatory consultant and non-executive director of several financial institutions in the United Kingdom.
So there's two opportunities. One is tell those people there who are doing nothing, who have financial expertise, come here. We will create a regulatory framework, or we have a regulatory framework which balances risk and financial innovation. On the one hand, our regulatory framework here in Sri Lanka tries to minimize risk, but on the other hand, it does not stifle innovation. Come here and create a financial hub so we can trade with countries which may not be willing to trade with each other. For example, Pakistan and India, India and China. So we could be a financial hub if we attract these people here, but on the other hand, we could actually have financial institutions which could become players in the global markets, where the current institutions in Europe and the UK are failing. It seems a big step in the imagination, but it can be done. The opportunity is there now.
Well, details of that story coming up later on in the news. Before that, taking a look at more local stories. Co-deputy leader of the United National Party, parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa, says that solutions will be provided to the housing problem in the country in order to strengthen the people. The MP expressed this view at a function held in Chilau today.
A financial donation was presented by MP Sajid Premadasa to the Muthu Mariamman Hindu Kovil in Chilau under the Sasanata Aruna program. Today, the people of the country have centralized the power of the Pradesh Sabha, Urban Council, Provincial Council, the Parliament and the President. Therefore, if there is so much of power, then building houses is not a huge task. If you provide us with the strength, then we will give you the motivation. There are 1.5 million families in this country who do not have a house of their own or a plot of land to call their own. We will solve the housing problems of these 1.5 million families. Meanwhile, a financial donation was also presented by MP Sajid Premadasa to the St. Sebastian's Church in the Valley area in Chilao today under the Sasunata Aruna program.
DNA parliamentarian Arjuna Ranatunga says that robbery has spread all over, starting from the parliament. He made this statement while attending a function in Alutgama today.
Building material worth 50,000 rupees was donated to the Ganetuda Sri Purana Viharaya from the decentralized fund of Arjuna Ranatunga. Robberies are increasing and spreading rapidly. We might have to remove robbery from the 5 precepts because it has spread amongst all, starting from those in the parliament. We are living in such an era. The only place that can put an end to this is the temple.
United People's Freedom Alliance Bentara Alpiti organizer Geeta Kumar Singh says that voters need to identify the right person who can serve the village before exercising their franchise. She made this observation while addressing a public meeting in the Alpiti area yesterday.
Those of the UMP came to Alpiti recently to carry out a protest. Why did they come here?